Yeah, yeah, do-do-do, ba-do-do, ba-do-do, ba-do-do. Yo, what up? Yeah, that's right, IG. Tell my followers that you started a live video, please. What up, you Michelle, Cushol, Angelia, Ginger Fading, New Mindset, how do I say that? Dinnery? I always wonder how to say that. Ryan, Inside Jokes, Raymond Holmes, I see y'all. The Futhamuckin Protocol hath returned. Hannah Boyd Miller, Real Estate by Wesley, Linda for Life, Jersey Bell. What up, y'all? Ronnie T, what's going on? Mo Better, The Yellow Canary, Dep, New Mindset Success. What up from Arizona? What up from BK? Delfino, what up? D Ni. Okay, I'm gonna figure it out. Travis Brown, what up? Royce, what's up? Sam Ridley, what's going on? Barry Ribs in the building. What's up, Barry? How you doing, man? Happy New Year. It's been a while, brother. It's good to see you. Welcome, Black. The dreams are yours. Take it out. Y'all had a good week. I hope y'all did. Hugh Mizzle, what up, famo? I see you, Hugh. Thanks for talking me off the ledge over the weekend, Hugh. I'll hit you afterwards and let you know what's up. Cal, what's going on? Justin, what up, Justin? How you doing, man? Good to see you on here. Neil J, I see you. Peace. We have another wonderful episode as we always do. Do we have to say rest in peace to anyone? Damn. Did I say rest in peace, MF Doom, Jen Stevens, what up? Yes, it's a red shirt day. If y'all haven't realized, this is episode 39, by the way, y'all. We're only 13 weeks shy of hitting a full year of this. Real Megan, what up? Yeah, and so I alternate. We have we have a guest just hopped up. You can't be up here, kitty cat. Say hi. All right. I don't know what you were thinking. Hey Rube, what up, son? Thank you, I appreciate that. Ice T Lauren, what up? Yeah, we've been doing this. This is the 39th week we've been doing this, and this week is no different. Miss Indigo the cat hopped up on here. He had to bounce though. See, and he's not a kangaroo. Who knew? Damn that cat! Rube, what up, man? How's Denver been? Did you know what I never heard? Did Denver get hit badly with COVID? Did COVID make it above sea level, that high above sea level? Who's my guest this week, Alberto? I have a great guest from many things. I actually have the Daily Show on. Straightforward, what up, Manny? What up, Manny? My guest tonight's Roy Wood Jr. is going to be on here tonight with us. Have you heard of Callum Cobretti? No. Is that a comic? If in that is, I thank you. My hair is looking luxurious, but it's time to put it under. I'm braiding this in a second because I'm sick of doing anything to it. I just want to get up and go, and I miss my cornrows, and it's been a good 5 months since I had it rowed, so I'm gonna row it in a little bit. Just to put it under. Oh, I believe he is. I'm not familiar with him, but I will. What was his name again? Callum Cabretti. Nah, I ain't going bald. God done blessed me with this, so I'm gonna hold on to this as long as possible. Yes, Alabama is in the house. Shout out to Roy Wood Jr. Real good dude. I would tell y'all a story about before he gets on here. Cause hey, Sharonda, how you doing, sis? She adores me. What up, Tommy Godlove? What up? The family is doing well. Thanks for asking. So I've been watching a lot of old Showtime at the Apollos on Tubi. I think it's Tubi.tv, TUBI, and and so one night I see Roy. I see Roy on there. This is probably like 2002, 2003. And and I was like, yo, anytime I see people I know on A, I'm gonna watch, B, I'm gonna root for them. And mind you, he wasn't an amateur, but what they had started doing around 2003, 2004, they started doing this comedy knockout. Oh, look, and he's on here. Roy, send me the request. So, cause I'm telling the story about Showtime at the Apollo. There he goes. Okay. Big timing. I started telling the story and Roy's like, oh, let me get on here.
Nigga, are you talking about the comedy
Roy,
TKO
what up,
on Showtime at the Apollo?
Yeah, I was telling the story.
Yeah, and you're talking about when the homie Dexter Angry washed my ass on national television.
Hold on. Let me give you your proper
competition comedy is a whole nother fucking
before
beast.
we gonna dive right into that story, but I will give you a proper intro and to show the proper intro. This is your man Dean Edwards. Welcome to another episode of the Futhamuckin Protocol live on a Monday night. This is our 39th episode. Started doing them in April. And my man Roy Wood Jr. is the guest tonight. This cat, you've seen him on some of everything from Showtime at the Apollo, Star Search, Premium Blend, Last Comic Standing, Comics Unleashed with myself, Leslie, and who else?
Ralph Harris.
And Ralph Harris. My bad, Ralph.
Yes,
host also of Comedy Central's This Is Not Happening. You also remember him from 3 seasons on Sullivan and Sons, and the last, is it 5 or 6 seasons on The Daily Show on Comedy Central. My man, FAMU's own, Alabama's own, Birmingham, Alabama representative, ex-Jedi, Roy Wood Jr. in the building.
How you doing, man? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing wonderfully, man.
My energy is a little down. I apologize. It's not in any disrespect to you. I know normally I'm but today I'm on some smooth bourbon shit. So
that's okay. That's okay. Shoot, we
got me a reindeer hat in the middle of January, so I'm on something different tonight.
I ain't mad at that. And if we gotta hit like smooth Albie Shore R&B energy where I'm squinting my eyes and licking my lips like real smooth like LL Cool J, then we could do that too. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez, you just fall off into impression.
But how have you been through this whole? Because we've now been in quarantine for what 9 or 10 months. We're going into month number 10. How have
depending on which state you're in and how your state give a fuck. For me, it's been cool. We do the Daily Show from home for the most part. So like there was a couple of discussions about sending niggas out before the election. And then they was like, Matter of fact, the last time I went outside to interview somebody was in June. And even that was like from like 20 feet away. Like it was a joke that we couldn't talk to each other outside. But it's been fine, man. I haven't done much stand-up though, bro. I've really enjoyed exploring writing and scripts and reading scripts and like really sharpening that tool. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I've been more on that more than anything else. And as much as I love stand-up, there's an arrogance in my mind of that'll be there. I'll have time to get back to that. But I don't know when I'll have time to just be at the crib alone, post it up and go, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to read a whole movie script today. I'm going to find a script of a movie I love and read that bitch and see how they were able to put those moments on paper and how, to make myself better.
You know what, Roy, real quick, sorry to interrupt you. You're strobing like you'll speak and then it freezes for whatever reason. I don't know if it's like you're frozen right now. Now I can't hear you. Can y'all hear? Was that just me, y'all, or was it my end? Maybe it was my end. Yes, the hat is hilarious. It's buffering now. I'm getting the spinning circles. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think he's back. Oh, they saying no audio.
All right, I got that audio for me. Y'all should be good with me now.
Okay, I think we got him back.
Okay, there we go. They should be able to hear me. Yeah.
I hear you now.
All right, man. Fuck technology, man. My stupid ass switched to T-Mobile. Now I'm all fucked up in my own house. I don't even know where to sit in my own house to get a good signal. Do the Futhamuckin Protocol.
Somebody just called you Teddy Riley, son.
Now look, what y'all not gonna do is turn into one of them verses now. You see how quick we changed our shit? I switched over to the 5G Wi-Fi at the crib. Turn off on the airplane mode, so I know I'm sucking off the Wi-Fi, not that T-Mobile drama. But no, the long and short, man, I'm writing more. I find more fun in writing scripts and trying to focus on how I can get better at that than just doing stand-up. Because in the long run, man, creation, man, that's the dream. Like, you know what I love about the game now?
What's up?
I love that writers are on social media and shit. Like, it's weird. It was weird to see at first because it wasn't the norm for like, hey, I wrote that. Y'all make sure you watch the shit that I wrote from my brain. Right. And I'm like, no, that makes perfect sense because now you see that as a viable option early on. And also, you know who the fuck to go and talk to if you want to be a writer yourself. Because that's the real longevity, bro. It's in creation. It's not performance.
Oh, bro. I had Gina Yashere on last week. And I posted a clip of exactly what what we're talking about right now. She's like, Dean, I had no idea. TV money. I had no idea how much money these white boys were making out here. And she then broke down how she's like, you know what, she loves stand-up and she looks forward to the day when she can just do, you know, a theater instead of doing 5 and 6 shows at a club. She can just do a theater and go back to writing because she said, you know, she wants to, she's co-creator of Bob Hart's Abishola, and she's getting that writer's money, that producer money, and she's looking forward to putting other people on. She's made sure that Chuck Lorre now understands, we have black people. I need black writers in the room, you know. So that's I think the landscape is changing because more and more people are understanding that, you know, the performance is great, but there's power in you know, controlling the narrative based on who's writing it.
And I think that's the main thing that I'm trying to really focus on and discover. And, you know, I study all them young niggas too. Like, you know, everybody talk about study the people ahead of you who already done it. Study the people that's behind you too, because they got some ideas.
Oh, no doubt.
Because them motherfuckers is hungry.
Yeah.
As hungry as you think you are, there's somebody behind you in line that's fucking starving. And I guarantee you they got a good idea. Because that's where good ideas come from fucking starving. So, you know, I try to look at, you know, what a lot of the youngins are doing. You know, Kev on stage is making some good moves. If we're just talking about setting up some producer type shit, you know, the boys 85 South, Carlos Miller, Chico Bean, DC. You know, I really look at the business structure and the business model that they've set up. And you're trying to combine two things of creating your content and also figuring out ways to control it or being able to create leverage for yourself to benefit in other capacities. And it is impossible to do that properly and build an hour and build a comfortable hour special and be a good boyfriend and be a good father. You cannot do all of that concurrently. So for now, while we're under the pandemic, we'll just move stand up over here for a second. And I mean, I'm stockpiling premises, but
of course,
it's just, you know how my stand-up is. My shit started on the wrong side of the issue. And then I have to work my way back to non-cancel land. So
Non-canceling.
The internet don't give you no dry runs. Like, don't nobody give a fuck about comedy practice. Anything you say on the internet is assumed to be your feelings forever and now and true, and you've always thought this, and you can never change. And I'll be damned if you motherfuckers gonna judge me on some shit I jotted down while I was walking home from the train.
Right.
I'm gonna put that shit up in a room where you have my full body, emotions, context, all of that shit, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And it's funny you say that because there've been a couple of people that I invited on. Number one, again, thank you for making the time for us tonight, because I know you're busy with the show. Because it's one thing to shoot a weekly show, it's another to work on literally a daily show that airs 4 or 5 nights a week, along with having a family. So I appreciate you, because I know there's some people that I've invited on that have projects that they're working on currently that are on television. And I know some people, now you know me, so I'm not gonna go over a line and do anything to mess up your paper, right? But I also know people are paranoid, so I don't get mad.
But you know, I'm also the opposite of that in that regard, because you ask me whatever, I'll answer whatever. Like, I've never shied away. My thing is, I try to only have conversations like this with people I respect, or people who I think give a fuck about the craft. Right. But, if I'm gonna be frank, and I can be frank because I've done a lot of these programs since March, it's a lot of motherfuckers just dicking around on IG Live, and they're not serious about asking intelligent questions or informed questions. And you can tell what they're doing is just some fuckery until they get back to doing whatever it was they really wanted to do. And I'm not saying that on some disrespectful shit, but I'm just saying it in a place of, if I'm going to be a guest on your situation, then I gotta feel like you at least coming from an input. Like, I don't give a fuck if Kanye and Kim get divorced. Like, don't sit me down and talk to me for 20 minutes about that. It's that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I just feel like while we're all in this moment as a country, in this moment, to, have some conversations that can at least inform or uplift instead of the same circular bullshit,
Exactly. Which is why, honestly, I created this, because I know there are a lot of not only just fans of comedy, but like you said, newer cats coming up that, if we're hanging out at the Cellar, they might not have an opportunity to talk to you, to find out, your process, to find out where you come from and what makes you tick. And so I wanted to create this sort of platform so that I could ask questions that I know they need to know or should know, and so that they don't just come at you sideways and run up on you. Yo, Roy, I'm a beast. You should bring me on the road when this is over.
And I'm not even mad at niggas for not knowing what they don't know, but I'm like this close. This is going to sound disrespectful, but it's actually very helpful. I'm this close to just creating a page on my website with my answers to the most frequently answered questions from young comics. Right. And just go, my nigga, start here. And then after that, if you have any questions, now we can have it. Because now if we're having a conversation, we're introducing new information into the atmosphere. And that helps everybody. I don't need to go on 40 shows answering the same question 40 times. That doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help the game. I'm not making the world better. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I try to approach, conversations like this. It's just a nigga asks. Now in my head, I have to go, is this nigga going to ask a good question? Or is he going to ask me, when did I first know I was funny?
So let me ask you this, we're going right to it. I started out by telling them, the people that were already on, I hit you maybe a month and a half ago. I'm watching Showtime at the Apollo. I see a young buck in the game, like the young bucks you're talking about. Nice suit, fresh suit, straight from
Fubu
Alabama.
Suit, nigga. It was a FUBU suit at the height of FUBU. 2002.
2002.
Yeah.
Clean. On stage at the Apollo, set the stage. So,
Mike Perry.
first of all, because it wasn't, first of all, for those that don't know, it wasn't, Roy was not an amateur. He was not part of the amateur night portion of Showtime at the Apollo, but around 2001, 2002, they started doing the Comedy Knockout. So explain to people what the Comedy Knockout was.
Basically, Comedy TKO was created to give comedians a fucking chance at getting out one goddamn joke before being booed. So if you put a comedian in the middle of amateur night, they get booed immediately unless you got some quick. So the idea was 2 comics, you both do 3 minutes, you both come back out at the end, Kiki Shepard, and the audience decides. Right. And so it was a more fair shake to do comedy that way. So that was also my first TV appearance. Was Showtime at the Apollo. I was supposed to do 3 minutes. I came off stage at 2:37 because I felt the boos coming, and I just fucking dipped. I'm like, there's no rule that says I have to stand out here and get booed.
Right.
And I fucking turned, and Ben Hill, who's the producer of Showtime at the time, Ben Hill is out there, and he can see it in my face. This nigga knows I'm about to fucking dip. He, stay out there. Stay out there. I'm like, no, bitch. Apollo, that's my time. And just ran off the stage, bro. Here's what they don't tell you about Showtime at the Apollo. As much of an institution as it is, you know, comedy is a tough thing to break. Apollo's a great place to go as an established comic. Right. As an amateur, I just don't think comedy is set up for that. It's just not. It's just not.
I agree. It's not conducive.
And then on top of that, here's what makes it even worse. Not only is it not conducive in the traditional structure of the show, but the way you watch Showtime at the Apollo is not the way that it's taped. So they'll show, like on a traditional episode, I know the young people like, what the fuck is Showtime at the Apollo? It was a talent showcase show, the same as anything. It was America's Got Talent, but nigga,
it was America's Got Talent before it. Yeah.
So basically, an episode of the show is, you know, amateur night, which is, you know, 20 minutes of the show. Then they would do Comedy TKO. Then they would have a popular rap artist perform. And then they would do some gospel tribute, whatever, some holy moment. And then they would do rap right after the holy moment. And then it's good night.
Right.
But on the night of the taping, they record all of the music acts back to back to get that all out the way. They're essentially shooting 3 or 4 episodes of a show with one audience. So as an audience member, you come in at 6 o'clock, and in a row, this is for real, on the night that I taped, in a row, P. Diddy and the Family, Ja Rule, DMX. All 2 songs apiece. 2 songs apiece.
Yeah.
So that's 6 fucking songs of
right.
And then Comedy TKO is next.
Right.
They might do Apollo Kids in between. They create a little buffer or some shit. Like they put the kids in their own little section too. So you're following a succession of popular rap songs. Also, best kept secret about the Apollo, $3 cocktails.
Ugh.
So
what?
This audience has been drinking $3 vodka for hours, for at least 2 hours.
Right.
And then your monkey ass from Alabama in your nice little FUBU suit. You think man, get your ass off the stage. You're not even cut for this. Like that. But here's the thing, here's the thing. As many comedians as have done the Apollo, like this is case in point, and we can move on. You can see clips of old musicians on the Apollo and go, ooh, I see it. Ooh, wow, even back then, that voice was, oh, man. How many old clips of popular comics have you seen from the Apollo? How many of those are ever leaked or ever put out into the fucking atmosphere? As many niggas have performed jokes on the Apollo as amateurs.
Right.
How many? Not many. None. Oh, there's plenty of clips. Like the Apollo clips you're talking about now, you can go right now. You can go right now on Amazon and you can stream the entire 1994 season of Showtime at the Apollo. Right. And you can see Monique. You can see
Steve Harvey,
Flex Alexander.
Flex Alexander.
But they were already established.
Right.
They were already established in the game. You can go, wow, they're polished, they're dope.
Yeah.
But there's no clip of there's no Hall of Fame comedian that you can find me. There's Showtime at the Apollo clip and go, I see it.
Right.
Because it just wasn't a place. But you also have to do it because you need TV credit.
Right.
Showtime at the Apollo is what got me BET's Comic View. Comic View is what ultimately got me Premium Blend on Comedy Central, which ultimately got me Star Search. Which is what ultimately got me to Montreal Comedy Festival, which got me Letterman. So you kind of have to take those opportunities. That's why it's hard for me to tell these young niggas to not jump at chances for exposure. I don't always think it's the best thing, but if you're trying to eat and survive, you got to be a draw somehow. You got to do something. Right. That's why all these social media cats, man. I saw the homie Royce was in here earlier. Royce was asking about my social media strategy. That's what I'm still working out, folks.
Right.
Because it has to be something ultimately that makes people want to come back to see you live. But you have to have content that you can create on a regular basis that is easy to produce, but is also saying something different. I'm not a sketch dude. I'll never be able to do what Country Wayne does. Mm-hmm. That's not, reasonable. I'm not Drewski too funny. They found their lanes, but I can't do that. But the basic concept of what is it that you do well that's funny and do it over and over and over and over again.
Right.
And stay meticulous about the repetition of posting and stay meticulous about the concept of creating, then you persevere. And the people who persevere are the ones that ultimately win. So that's what I've been kind of experimenting with. And that's why I kind of I fuck around a little bit on Twitter and IG and I post certain things and just to see what it's litmus testing, and I go, that got a good response. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll figure out something around that. And so that's kind of what I've been playing with now. And I think that's what 21 is going to be more about for me, is setting the chess pieces in place for 22. As far as I'm concerned, 21 is a wash. Everybody talking about opening back up the cut. No. 21 is all setting chess pieces. We writing scripts, and then we getting this social straight, and then we spending the back half of the year producing all of the scripts that we wrote the front half of this year. And then next year, when all of that produced content starts dropping, we get to reap the benefits of that on top of whatever social content we've been doing the whole back half of the year to start building out draw, and hopefully by then I can pay some bills.
Right. But you speak on I think consistency, as you said, is key. And I think younger comics can learn from older comics and vice versa. You mentioned 95 South, the Country Wayne, or some of the what I call social medians. Their hustle, their consistency with just producing. Clayton Thomas constantly putting.
Old heads don't want to learn nothing from them youngins, man. Old heads think they know everything, so they want to sun you, and they want to act like they don't need no game.
But we all, enlightenment is a continuous journey. You constantly have to adapt. If you don't, you're gonna get left. Myself included. I fought it for a long time. Listen, Godfrey told me to do this. Me doing
and Godfrey been fucking with the internet, but nobody will call him a social media comedian with some slanderous tone in their voice because his pedigree. He did stand up for a long time, and then he started doing this. Well, then, bitch, maybe you should fucking do what Godfrey's been doing.
Right.
And not look at it as some sort of negative. And that's how a lot of cats take it,
Right. But instead of, because the mature approach is just saying, I just had this conversation with a good friend of mine. I said, yo, man, I said, you know what, you have to. I said, you have to, or you're going to get left. There's no way around. And I said, fine, whatever it is you do. And that's what I was like, you know what, I did. And as a matter of fact, I went back because that's the funny thing about Instagram, Facebook, what have you, is they'll remind you. And so like a year ago, I was doing these Denzels and these Tracy Morgan things consistently, and I got lazy. I probably got lazy because I was getting road work, and so I was like, oh no, right? But sitting during this quarantine, I said more recently, I said, nah, man, I said, just you have all these skills, all these talents, just do it. And so I actually say to myself, here, let me take 10 minutes to go, and I'll sit here and edit it, and some stuff is takes longer. Some stuff is just throwaways where you're like, oh, that, and people respond to it. So
yeah,
it makes
it's weird,
sense.
man. I just think that we also get caught up in the concept of instant gratification as comedians. You post something,
Yeah,
on a bunch of motherfuckers to,
right.
but that didn't get enough likes. Sometimes you just have to fucking post over and over, and I think that's part of it. I just think that you have to have content that's specific.
Yeah, content is king. Content is winning, man.
Yeah.
The more content you have, the more people see of you, and I think you still can have mystery associated with what you do. You don't have to put all your business out there, but you should constantly produce. You should, and then also it's keeping you creative, right? It's keeping you on your toes creatively, as opposed to just sitting, because you and I both know people that are sitting at home and they're like, man, I can't get on stage right now, and that's it. And they kind of just sitting complaining. It's like, don't complain, make something happen, do something productive is my point.
Yeah, I got to start getting a little more focused. Like I low key almost feel like this might even be, I got a couple more interviews on the books in February. And I think after that, I might just like fucking pull a Gerard Carmichael and just we don't need to talk for a while. I need to just go create. Like I'm starting to understand why some comics, you don't hear a lot from them. And a lot of that comes from them just being in their head, and you really have to go away for a while to like really find what that idea is too. Sometimes it's about unplugging, because I always look back at the first year of Def Jam, man. And the thing that was so fascinating about Def Jam in that first year, the first year, like what was that, 91, 92-ish?
92.
92. So there were no two comedians that were similar in style.
Right.
Not tempo, not cadence, not fashion, not nothing. Every single comedian was a completely different kaleidoscope creation that somehow still fit within blackness. And I truly believe that part of that level of originality was because so many of them were not on TV before that. So you kind of had to do your own thing and just fuck it. This is who I am.
Right.
And that's part of, we got to a long, well, I didn't get into a long discussion about it. They got into a long discussion about Comic View. And how Comic View created a lot of copycats. Who were just, there were a lot of comics who weren't as senior who were going, oh, I just got to do like that. Well, I can do like that.
Right.
BET didn't give a fuck because they was putting 9 niggas on the episode, so they needed the bodies. So they didn't care about, degrees of authenticity as much as they just needed volume of jokes, which, okay, fine, that's your decision. But when I look at, whether they knew it or not, a lot of those old school Def Jam cats, they created their personas, to a point where originality was policed. If you dared to even be like someone, they would beat the shit out of you. Like there was consequences to be paid for even trying to bite somebody's style. So I sometimes wonder how much I benefit from consuming everything. Like I love watching stand-up, but outside of that, sometimes I wonder if there was a way, and maybe we're just too late, we're just too past it, man. But I sometimes wonder if there was a way to just wipe what you've seen so that you could create in more of a vacuum, you know, away from everything else. And so I don't know. I think that's something in 21 that I'm in search of, but it's hard because so much of my brand is satire, which requires commentary on what the fuck is happening.
Right.
So I have to be plugged in. Like even my stand-up is, it's not about me. It's about what the fuck's going on around us.
Right.
And so I don't know how to do them both at the same time, but if I figure that out, I'm gonna be a problem in 22, bro.
Well, it was also I liken the early years of what I call like the Black comedy revolution of the early 90s with which Def Jam and Uptown Comedy Club and even Comic View ushered in and gave us voices of cats that were out there. That was, you know, Bernie and crew. They had been out there for years, but hadn't gotten a shine, right? But it's similar to hip hop. You know, if you take golden era hip hop or even early to mid 90s hip hop, Biggie didn't sound like DMX, and DMX didn't sound like Method Man, and Method Man didn't sound like Slick Rick. You know, everybody, you had to have you thrived on your own originality. Rakim didn't sound like Big Daddy Kane, you know, and LL didn't sound like Run. You know, everybody had to have their own lane, and you actually people thrived because you were on your own creative. Well, if he's in his pot, you know, mixing up his stew, I'm gonna see what he's gonna come with. But if I'm Rakim, I'm gonna see how many words and syllables I can rhyme together versus someone, you know, that had a more basic cadence, say a DMC, who was also a beast, right? Yeah. And so the same thing with comics. When comics came out, you saw that first season of Def Jam. You saw Eddie Griffin, and then Bill Bellamy, and then Adele Givens, and then Teddy Carpenter, and so forth. Everybody had, because everybody was also representing their different regions. So you had Tony Wood, shawty, representing DC, and you had D.L. Hughley representing the West Coast, you know, and they all had a different perspective because they were all coming from different areas, you know, similar to early hip hop. Whereas now a lot of rap that comes out is very similar, or a lot of rappers that come out are doing a similar thing or a similar cadence because that's what's popular and that's what's selling.
Record
but
labels,
then you know in that
radio, that all that shit too.
But then in that you'll get a Kendrick Lamar, you'll get a J. Cole, and the funny thing is Kendrick, to a generation that's coming up now, Kendrick is actually, you know, not old school, but he's old to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which means we're geriatric, right? You know, so I think it's possible to get in your lab, like someone like Gerard. Gerard, you know, is an anomaly. You know, Chappelle is an anomaly also because financial security allows you to maintain that mystery, right? Like Gerard has done enough and has had enough early success where he can take time off. You know, I'm always amazed when I see actors say, "Yeah, I took time away from acting." And I'm like, that means you rich. That means you got some money.
Must be nice, motherfucker. Can't relate.
Right. So everybody has, I guess, a different approach to it. But I love watching you. I love watching your process. You know, we met, I think, when we did Comics Unleashed.
Yeah.
And I told people back then the reason our 2 episodes were dope is because, similar to what you just said, you are different than Ralph Harris, are different than myself, are different than Leslie Jones. The 4 people on our panel, we all came up and we all had a different perspective, a different way of seeing the world. And just to correct somebody, because I just saw a comment real quick that said Dave Chappelle didn't come up in front of black people. That's a misconception. Dave Chappelle did come up in front of black people, but he also was doing mainstream clubs. You know, that's I think people have this misconception.
He crossed over way before. I also think because one of Chappelle's first specials was a mixed audience special.
Right.
It's not always seen as that, but I don't think he's ever swerved stylistically. Like,
No.
it ain't no code switch type situation. He's always
Right.
been Dave.
Right.
Like, if you
Right.
just look,
I mean, shoot, his one of his earliest his first TV appearance, if I'm not mistaken, or one of them was Teen Summit on BET with David Edwards and D'Artagnan Edmonds. You know, like, and then Def Comedy Jam and so forth. But I think because Chappelle's show popped across the board, and because say Half Baked was like a stoner
yeah, but
movie.
also his movie run post Def Jam in the mid to late 90s was predominantly white films.
Yes,
Predominantly white content.
I agree with that. You know, Robin Hood Men in Tights was not, it was a funny movie, but it wasn't a barbershop movie.
And Chappelle, in a way, and I wonder if this is probably a question for Dave. So I don't want to speculate for him, but I also wonder, because the 90s was the black cinema boom.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of like just black creators. Like 90 to 95 was shoot 'em ups. 95 to 2000 was Love. Like that was Love and Basketball, Love Jones, Brown Sugar, all that shit.
Yeah.
You know, after we murdered, it was like, all right, my friend,
progressive Negroes.
Yeah. So I wonder, you know, Dave not being in a lot of those productions, maybe people just kind of overlook that, but you know, it just all depends.
Right. I'll go with that. I think that does. I think that feeds into the time that he popped. You know, because you had like the hottest comic, you know, at one point was probably Chris Tucker, and Chris popped from Friday. Whereas you had Chris Tucker and Friday, and you had Chappelle with Half Baked, and so they served to two different audiences. And
I would say Chris Tucker probably, in terms of return on investment, for what they pay you to be on TV, and I'll give you the numbers. The average television appearance, I don't know what the numbers were in 91, but I know today it's $1,000 minus taxes, union, et cetera, you probably leave with about $600. If you got an agent and a manager, them niggas get $100 a piece too. So you got about $400 in your pocket for performing on TV. Chris Tucker took them funky ass $400 and flipped that shit into Friday, and then immediately flipped that shit into a $20 million movie career. Like, he was that lost a lot of the money, but that's aside the point.
Yeah.
You want to say, you're like, just somebody who took the opportunity and ran with it, man. Hands down.
Oh yeah.
Hands down.
No,
a lot of careers pop from Def Jam. But I just, you know, my point is, I'm trying to figure out this year, man, of how to find that creative vacuum to create that bubble to create it. And I don't know if it's possible necessarily to do that away from people. You know, you can't really do that away from family. Like, I hear stories about writers who go to cabins and shit to write, you know, like there's really rich writers. Tell y'all some secrets, Instagram. There's really rich writers who have some shit called a writing house.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers have a house they live in, and then they have another house. And that's the house they go. It's out in the country somewhere, out in the peace. And I go here, work on my novel, or I'm going to work on season 2 of the show. I'm just going to go out to my boat dock. And so, you know, I didn't figure out what the fuck my writer house is going to be. But
you know, my writer house is my dining room table, which is straight ahead of me. Look, my writer's house is putting on the Beats by Dre.
Yeah.
And a laptop.
Before the pandemic, I thought about just using my frequent flyer miles to just sit on the plane and just fucking write.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not fucking with that. And then I also thought about the train, you know, like there's an odd peacefulness to the train that I enjoy. But even that's still only a couple of hours, and it's not complete stillness.
Right.
But it is a weird bubble away from it. Like just by comparison, before, like when I was a youngin' in the game, I used to write in the mall food court. Like when I was on the road doing stand-up, I would go to the mall and sit in the food court. And there was something about the quietness of the chaos
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
you just get the people watch and you just it's like being in a Starbucks. A food court ain't but a big ass
Yeah.
Starbucks. So you in here, you do anything, you just look, oh wow, that's crazy. They arguing. That's a couple arguing. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was always a fun thing to do. So I don't know.
Right.
That's what I'm in search of right now, man. It's not only
Yeah,
what
we
to
used to
create.
when I started going out to LA heavily. I don't know if you more still on here, but I just sent him a picture. There was a spot on I want to say on a Hollywood, like Hollywood and maybe Wilton, called Lithium. Him and Ian Edwards and my man Rich Pierre Louis, Leonard Robinson. We used to always, and even Kev Hart back in the days. We used to just go to these coffee shops and they would just sit in them for hours and write. You heard I said they, cause I'd be like, wait, so we just here?
I tried
But
that and I couldn't get any comedians. I couldn't get comedians to respect it enough to do it often enough. And niggas
right. Again, consistency.
But also being sensitive, being open to criticism. I think if a comic is smart, if I could do it again, if I could do my career over again, give me 3 niggas with different writing styles from me, but also who understand my writing style. 3 cats whose styles I understand, but our styles are not similar.
Right.
Once a week, twice a month, y'all sit down and everybody share a new 5 minutes. And niggas just punch it up. And you sit and transcribe. Or we tell you why the joke is flawed and here's where to fix it.
Right.
And I promise you, you will leave every week, like every month, you'll have 20 new minutes. That's been emboldened by 3 other comics that you respect. Like having that type of, but if you do that with comics that are too similar, then y'all start arguing over bits. You start arguing over who gave you that joke and I was the one who gave. Ain't no real trust. You a hater. You don't never like none of my material. So it can get messy. So it's got to be with people that you have some security with. But I don't think I really had that to a degree.
I had that with me and Todd Lynn. We would do that. We would just sit and he had an idea. We work on it or vice versa. And Mark Theobald. That was like our little clique that we would sit and just form Voltron on a joke, form Voltron and build it, and then what I liked about that creative sort of camaraderie was when you went and you saw somebody else doing a joke that you helped work on and then it clicked. It was like a win for everybody.
Yeah, but cats don't see it like that now.
Yeah,
don't see it like that now.
Some things, I think again it goes to maturity. If you mature enough to vibe with somebody, because we all have friends, we all have associates that we hang out with and kick it with. So why wouldn't you entrust your material and say, yo, I got 5 bits on one workout. I got 5 bits. Yo, I got 5 bits. All right, boom. What's your first bit? And then just go around and
around the horn.
It worked. I still have a couple of jokes that we worked on back then that were dope jokes that I still until the joint airs on a special. Keith Robbins had said that. He was like, until it airs, you don't have to retire it. So I'm like, I will milk this joke.
I mean, unless you done went through a market 3 times, you can't be showing up in Philadelphia for your fourth round and still doing that same hour. Like no.
Right, no.
Yeah, but you add on to it. Yeah, that's all in the game, man.
But talk to me about, because you used to do the pranks, and it's interesting that you said you're not a sketch comic, and this is coming from an acting coach that said that to me years ago. They said, every time you get on stage and you speak that's not in your natural voice, whether it's you talking about your family or what have you, even your wife, your children, your moms, pops, whomever, the person at the airport, you're doing you're acting, you're creating a characterization, and so you do characters. And so I found it interesting that you said that you really don't do sketch, because you came from doing amazing. I've listened to over the years. Like you just pop up YouTube and it's like Roy Wood Jr. prank calls, and you were a beast at those before, especially as a black cat that was doing pranks before. Because now it's sort of that's become a norm as well on social media.
It was me and Ricky Smiley,
right,
before Nephew Tommy, and that's with respect to Nephew Tommy.
Right.
I think Tommy's got the belt now, but at that time, Ricky Smiley had started, and then Ricky left the station in Birmingham to go to Dallas to start what eventually became his syndicated joint. And it happened it's just weird how shit worked. Rick retired and left Birmingham the same time I graduated from college and moved back to Birmingham.
Oh, wow.
I had a degree in broadcast. And so I walked up to the radio station. I'm like, yo, I'm a fucking comedian and I got a degree in this shit. What's up?
Right.
And so they're like, all right, bet. Intern, no money for you, nigga, but welcome. And so that's kind of how that relationship started. But I had to keep doing pranks to keep my job. I had to provide them with prank calls. So I had to make the pranks funny because literally my career depended upon it. Right. I wasn't a fan of doing pranks initially because Ricky Smiley was known for, well, fuck, I want to come in here and do what he did. But then you understand it and you go, okay, I understand how radio works. And there's certain things in radio that are principal forms of entertainment that are just basic structure. This is funny. Don't matter what and by doing this well, it gave me the freedom. It earned me the creative trust of my bosses to do all the stuff I actually wanted to do. So that almost is a lesson that still serves true now with like writing scripts and stuff. People have to know that you know the basics before they'll trust that you can deconstruct the machine and do something creatively different. And that's probably the most valuable lesson I learned with prank phone calls. Is like, okay, I can do a prank call, but now that I've done these prank calls, now you trust me to do all these XYZ sketches that had never been done in radio before that got me just as much love, from the people of Birmingham. But at the time I had to do the pranks, bro. That's part of why I take this digital shit so seriously now. I fumbled the ball on that. When YouTube first launched in, I think 2005, 2004, 2005, within a year I had 100,000 subscribers on my YouTube page. My first YouTube page before it got taken down for copyright violations, about 150,000 subscribers. And I was just posting, and this is at a time when you went on YouTube to listen to stuff. YouTube wasn't even a video app.
Right.
You would go on YouTube to listen to mixtapes and shit. Like that's how you would just leave it on your browser and just let it play. And so, I look back on that and then MySpace a couple years after that, and I'm like, fuck, I had the content and I was doing it regularly. Right. All I had to do was keep doing it. God damn it, Roy.
Right. Consistency.
All right. Now you got to do it again. But now you're 40 and you're a father. Figure it out. Like, it's that type of shit. But, I mean, the pranks were cool. It's not something I would ever do again. I listened to them. And, the fact that I was never murdered or sued. And, like, for real, the fact that a lot of the shit that I said to people, bro, I said some wild shit. But I was also 23 and hungry. And when you're fucking hungry, you'll go some places. And we got some good comedy. I remember I did a prank one time. It's not on any CD. Like you can't even get my CDs. Like they're gone. Like offline. Like it's gone. Oh, wow. Like if you know about my pranks, you really fuck with me on some underground shit. Like there's some still on YouTube, but as far as like actively purchasing, no, you ain't buy that shit in almost a decade. But there's a prank. I think it's still on. It might still be on YouTube. It's called Bubba's Money. Bubba's Money is the name of the prank call.
Hold up,
and I called this lady. I'm not sure if it's still online. It's not from my account. A lot of folks still post my pranks. I don't copyright strike them because I'm not a hater. Right. So I called this lady, right? And basically she owed some money for a Cadillac to this nigga named Bubba. And I called this lady and I go, hey, you owe the money. A prank call. There's two types of prank calls. conflict or impossible request.
Mhm.
That's it. So this is a conflict call. We have a problem that needs to be resolved. So you owe my brother money. I want my brother's money. I want Bubba's money. And then she goes, well, sir, can I call you back? I'm in the hospital right now. They're getting ready to admit me. To which I said, I don't give a fuck. I want Bubba's money. And everything from then on is straight hilarity. And God bless Flossie. Like, she was a great sport about it, and it was all gravy. But that's the type of shit that could have gone south, bro. But when you're 23, you ain't thinking about this lady dying on the phone. And she was in there for heart problems. And I'm calling and fucking with you. Like, I can't live like that anymore, Dean. Like, you have to know. That's why, like, when I look at these street pranks and all this stuff these youngins do, you have to be old enough to know when you've lost the edge. I don't have that edge anymore. Like, if I like somebody said, when you gonna do another prank CD, it's not gonna be funny.
Right.
I'm 42 and I have too many different things going through my head of how this could go wrong for this to be right. The best pranks, all them crazy public stunts, those people throw fuck it to the wind and and that's why it's funny, because it's reckless. It's irresponsible. That's why it's funny. I can't be irresponsible anymore. Right. I can't live like that. So, I mean, I love them, but it's not something I would ever go back to doing.
When you don't have to tell the story, but would you say the Jay Prince situation made you say, that's enough of these pranks?
Perfect example. Yeah. That was a perfect example. The Jay Prince situation was exactly why I did my third and final album. Mm-hmm. That was my third prank album was 07. Mm-hmm. I was banging them like every other year at that point. The long and short of the story, for the people who don't know it, Jay Prince, the CEO and founder of Rap-A-Lot Records, well-respected man in these streets, and he got goons. I prank called him and told him that his rappers ain't worth shit and he need to release all. I don't remember specifically what I said, but I talked a lot of shit about Rap-A-Lot artists. And I made this call in Houston, where Jay Prince is from, and they sent goons. Now, I didn't know they were sending goons, but I had a feeling. Like I've been in enough situations where you can hear it in a nigga's tone. You're like, oh, wait. Like, once we told him it was a prank, his tone didn't change. Like, normally we go, it's a prank call. You got prank. Oh, man, you got me, man. Man, Roy, you got. We told him, said, Jay Prince, you got prank. Okay. And I was like, okay, he's coming to the studio. He's coming to the studio. Because we're over here at the, like I told him the studio we were at, hoping that would help ice it over. No.
And didn't you say he said something? I don't remember the verbiage he used, but whatever he said it like 2 or 3 times.
Oh,
very
where
calmly.
You at? Where you at? Man, I'm prank calling. Man, Jay Prince, Rap-A-Lot Records ain't worth shit. Where you at, brother? Don't worry about where I'm at. You need to give me my money back for all these Rap-A-Lot CDs I can't sell in my record store. You want to talk business? I talk business in person. So where you at? And that's when I clammed up. I was like, it's a prank call. Okay. But where you at? And so when we got off the phone with him, I went back to the airport. And that's a very true story. Like, it's silly, but I'm not trying to get my ass beat over no fucking joke. And that album was supposed to be, we were doing an album. My first 2 prank calls had gotten good buzz in the underground scene in like hip hop, and they were getting put on mixtapes and shit. Mm-hmm. And so this underground label in Houston wanted to do a prank album where we just, where we only prank call celebrities. Mm. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Right. Jay Prince was the first person we called, and that shit went so left. I was like, I'm not fucking with celebrities. because
That was the last one.
yeah, I was the first one. Like we had like 8 calls lined up that day. I was just like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Y'all can take me back to the airport. And I went back to the airport, and they thought I was overreacting. They just like, Roy, it'll be fine. We gotta finish. We booked all this studio time. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, folks. I heard that man's tone on the phone, and I think they're coming over here. He's not gonna come over here. He's gotta cool off. He'll be fine. I said, nah, man. Nah, I'm going home. Where at least I know there's people like you can't hide in Houston from Jay. So I'm going to the airport where at least there's TSA, and like at best at the airport, all you can do is beat my ass. You can't shoot me.
Right.
I hope. Like you can't get the gun through. And so that was all like 2006, right? Fast forward to Jay Prince promoting his autobiography, and a couple people asked him about that story, and the nigga remembered it, and the nigga said specifically, "Oh yeah, we was gonna fuck him up." Those were his exact words. So you have to always trust your instincts. Like that's what I tell people. If it feel like an ass whooping's coming and you ain't ready to fight, you get the fuck on.
You gotta pay attention to the spidey senses when it's tingling.
Yeah, so it's just these are fun jokes, but then also the thing with the pranks also that I had to be careful about was being known for that.
Right.
And so that was the danger in doing anything beyond the 3rd album. It was like, all right, if I do one more of these, then do I become Roy D. Mercer or the Jerky Boys? And like that's, and granted, those are 2 totally different brands. Like neither of those were live performers who had other things that they were trying to do career wise, but I just didn't want to be known as the prank call dude versus the prank calls being known as a phase of my evolution. Like when you talk to someone about, it's like Drake with Degrassi. He ain't known for being on Degrassi, but it is a phase of his evolution that we acknowledge. So I just don't know if I could ever do another prank album. I just don't think I have the metal required for it to do it as good as we did them. We did those day in. I did like 700 prank calls, bro. We did hundreds. I prank called hundreds of people. I'm still alive. I should just fucking leave the casino.
Did you ever? Because I always, and I'm sure other people wonder.
Nigga ran up on me in Cleveland over a prank. He didn't fight me, but he wanted to. So
who did?
Some dude in Cleveland that I prank called, and I did a show in Cleveland at the Improv in the Flats.
And then came to your shoulder.
He waited 4 months till I came to Cleveland and bought a ticket, and then met me at the merch table. Who the fuck I want to live like that in exchange for a couple dollars and some yucks? I'm straight, bro.
Right.
I'm straight.
No, I think you made the right decision. It seems to. It seems to have. Look. It seems to have panned out.
Yeah, I would much rather be on the Daily Show doing jokes about Trump and getting occasional hate messages to my Facebook account. That's safer.
Right.
At least for black people, there's rules to the ass whooping.
Right.
You don't know where these Trump supporters coming from. They sneak your ass on the sidewalk.
Hey, with the Daily Show, because y'all have had hiatuses, and I wonder this because it's a daily show versus like I know with SNL, there were times that something would happen in the news and we were off. And if something happens while y'all are on hiatus, because your show is so timely, do you still, when you're back in production, say, hey, what about that thing that happened 2 weeks ago, or is it dead?
I'll give you a perfect example. We were off last week during the Capitol protest.
Right.
That was a scheduled off week for the holiday. And you can't, oh shit, some shit's happening. Hurry, everybody, fucking come on the air. Like we can't, the shows don't operate. And there's a lot of union rules in place. Like once you assign off days, an off day is your off day.
Right.
You got employees that are at home chilling. They ain't set up. Like you told me this was my day off, motherfucker. You can't just call me
Thank
in.
You, SAG-AFTRA. Right.
Yeah, you can't call me in like the National Guard and just activate me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So So it's more of the fallout. The Daily Show is all about what's happening today, what is the conversation that is happening now, or what is the conversation that's going to be happening around the corner. We can't look back. Because also by the time we get back on air with it, what we look like rehashing everything from the 6.
Right.
You already know what the deal is. If we were on the air today, the conversation is about the fallout of all of those arrests and all these people getting added to the no-fly list and seeing how much worse the footage was. And also, can we have a safe inauguration? That's the future conversation. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, how things would be kind of structured out now.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, man.
Would you say, because when you did Last Comic, and I think I've had a couple other comics, including Gina last week, were you reluctant to do Last Comic Standing? And the reason I asked that is because I know a lot of comics or comedians, whichever you go by, a lot of comics are reluctant to do comedy contests because they know there's more than just your comedy being scrutinized and packaged.
I did Last Comic in 2010, and I came in 3rd place. That was my 3rd time doing the show. The only reason I did it was because they told us we would be judged solely on our stand-up, and there would be no house, there would be no reality show games.
Okay.
It's true. Our season of Last Comic, season 7, is the only season to not have any of the extra bullshit going on.
Right.
It was strictly American Idol. You go up every week, one of you niggas going home. Next week, one of y'all going home. And it's strictly the performances. They didn't have us out doing activities. There were no challenges. There was no secret booth where you talk shit about other people. It's just walk out on stage.
Testimonial?
Yeah, none of that. Walk out on stage and be funnier than everybody else, and you'll move on. And so that seemed like the fairest way to do it. So I did it.
Okay.
Season 7 of Last Comic Standing. Also, the lowest rated season in the history of the television program.
Interesting.
Because no one gives a fuck about comedy straight up.
Right.
So you have to have the drama and the games for the sake of ratings. And the comedy becomes the baked potato to the drama steak. But that's the game. And either you with it or you ain't. Y'all want to be on the comedy competition show and be judged fairly. That's not what it is. It's a showcase. Do you want an opportunity to show what you do to a bunch of people that hopefully will come see you? And you may or may not win some money. But otherwise, you get a chance. I got a chance every week for fucking 7 weeks, bro. 7 weeks straight, I was on television for a minimum of 3 minutes doing comedy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. We're talking 6-7 million viewers. I think in those days, maybe like 5-6 million an episode. It's a lot of people. And so for me, that was fine. I mean, I know comics don't like being yo-yo, but you're being cast.
Right.
I just wish, I'll say this, I gotta go in a second, but I just wish comedians would stop hoping that non-comedians take our craft as serious as we do. They don't give a fuck. So play by the rules or go create your own fucking playground. They're never going to give a fuck. They're not going to care about the grind and the struggle and the fucking, it's fucked up that a ventriloquist is being judged against a mime that's being judged against a fucking comedian. That guy's a 20-year vet and he fucking lost to a dog flipper. Yes, because fucking there's people in this country who like just seeing dogs do backflips. That's just what it is. That's why
the ventriloquist owns a plane.
Bro, that's why that nigga Preacher Lawson freaked the game hard, bro.
Yeah.
Preacher Lawson went on America's Got Talent.
Yes, he did.
And he understood something that it took me a couple of times to figure out, is that contest comedy is attack fast and then you can downshift. Where traditional club comedy is take your time and
right.
Contest comedy is like if you just follow comedy, the wavelengths of it, and there's comedians that can't come out like that right away. you're not right for contest comedy. So don't fucking
Right.
do it. Or
Right.
do it and lose and complain, but it's not going to change anything. You're just here for fucking ratings, my nigga. It's
Right.
no one cares.
Get that burger.
I wish. I don't know. I'm going to stop talking on that because I'm very troubled at how much our community continues to be troubled by contest comedy.
Right. Right.
When the truth is, contest comedy is also the only thing that's kept stand-up comedy on fucking television for the last fucking 10 years. Because ain't no more stand-up showcase shows.
You're right. Yeah.
There's not that many shows anymore where they just put 4 comedians on for half an hour. Comedy Central don't do that shit no more. They moved all that shit to digital. Right. HBO Max might give a couple cats a look. You and fucking Tiffany Haddish in the game. All right, Tiffany Haddish went and found a couple motherfuckers and gave y'all some luck, but it took Tiffany fucking Haddish to even get that to fucking happen. So the only other way this art form will be seen is if one of us is going to have our balls cut off. That's what America wants to see. They want to see somebody fucking lose. You wouldn't watch fucking Cooking if Gordon Ramsay wasn't going to yell at a bitch. Like, that's... So this art form that we love so much still needs to be seen. And if the only delivery vehicle that exists right now that people seem to fuck with is a contest variant of it, I don't know what to tell you. I can't speak ill of that. Right. I can't speak ill of that. I can't speak ill of it when a cat like say Preacher Lawson or Josh Blue or
Felipe
Esparza, like there's this guy Drew Lynch, the stuttering comic.
Drew Lynch, yeah.
These niggas walked off them shows, they walked into comedy clubs, and they sold out weekends, right? Those weekends are the ones that pay the bills for the weekends that you can't sell out.
Right.
So whatever keeps the doors open on the comedy club, I'm very, very hesitant to just drag through the mud. It ain't perfect. It ain't pretty. But if it helps the culture of stand-up comedy survive, I'm with it, man. Because on the other side of COVID, we're going to need stand-up comedy on TV. If you want people coming back to the fucking comedy clubs, they get a reason. So, either that.
Let me ask you this last question and let you go. And this is a question that I always ponder with most comics with their specials. Why the title Father Figure and No One Loves You? I always like, what went into you deciding the titles for your specials?
Well,
which I texted you and said they both were brilliant.
Father Figure was a message to my son. So that's more of a, here's some shit that's going on in the world. Here's a way to try and work through it, or here's at least a way to try and view it.
Okay.
No One Loves You. I feel like I didn't quite nail it with all the material. I just didn't have enough time.
Really?
No One Loves You is about the insincere sincerity that exists in the society. And that if you really look deeper at the issues in the world, most everybody is going for self. Everybody is after their own self-preservation. Everybody's after their own self-interest first. And then maybe I'll give a fuck about you. And that's something I truly believe about the world. I don't believe that most people have the better interest of the greater good in mind. They care about themselves. How can I help myself first? And then I'll help you motherfuckers. So that was the idea.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, man.
Well, my man 50 Grand, Roy Wood Jr., and salute to Roy Wood Sr. and your moms. They did a great job. Brother, thank you for hanging out. Keep doing your thing. Keep writing. I'm a check in periodically to make sure you finishing that script. And keep giving us that funny whatever, whether it's on the social medias, whether it's on the Daily Show, we're here for it and we appreciate it. Love you for it, bro. Keep doing your thing.
Respect, brother. See you, Dan.
Respect. Peace.
Yes, sir.
All right, son. There you have it, people. Another episode of the Futhamuckin Protocol. Oh, and you know what, Jason? I saw you, son. I ain't want to interrupt Roy. Yes, the very funny Jason Andor is in the building. There's been another episode of Futhamuckin Protocol. It's your man Dean Edwards. I saw a couple of people asked if this is recorded. This goes to my live, so it's on my page. If you came in late, you can go to I am Dean Edwards and watch the full interview. And every week, for those that this is your first time, thank you for riding with us, and go check out some of the previous episodes. We've had everybody from Genie Yashere, Deion Cole, Avion Crockett, Godfrey, Yamanika Saunders, Marina Franklin, Jim Gaffigan, and the list goes on. Just a lot of great comics and great entertainers and great people with great insight behind the scenes as well. I have some great episodes. We didn't talk about Sullivan and Sons, but we'll do that in the next couple of weeks. I also have my man Steve Byrne, my man Ahmed, who are both cast members on Sullivan and Sons, and both respected stand-ups as well as actors. And Steve is now a director and screenwriter. So keep tuning in. We'll keep giving y'all this funny. It's your man Dean Edwards. All love. Y'all keep doing your thing and stay safe out there. And I'll see you in now 6 days, because we're going to do this again in less than 7. All right? It's your man Dean Edwards. All love. 2 fingers. Peace. I know I need a manicure and a pedicure. I'm gonna go do that in the next. Thank you, y'all. Thank you, Hannah Boyd. Another great one. Thanks to each of y'all. Let me get a little something. This is another dope combo. Thanks, y'all. Rodney Perry, I see you, family. Miss you, brother. And I'm waiting for that for Coming to America 2. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get a snack. All right, peace.